On this week's show, we're discussing Wolverine's previews that are sharpening up, a Legend of Zelda Nintendo Switch has been leaked, Ghosts of Yore lands a complete edition, and a classic Lord of the Rings title is stealth dropped by Aspyr this past week. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming podcast, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together to round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV, and up there, available in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for us, the GamerGuild Podcast. Every Monday, 8 a.m, you'll find us when we go live. Your podcast plays for the week are myself, Chris, at Arcane Robe, after a small holiday, and the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. I'm pretty good.
Melting in the sun still? We're on, what, our 6th, 7th heat wave?
Yeah, today hasn't been as bad, but it's been really humid. It's one of them days where you sat still, you're fine. As soon as you get up and walk anyway, go, oh, God, sweat.
That is a perfect encapsulation of the week's holiday that I just had, where basically popping to like the shops for a drink. By the time you've got back, you've drank the drink you went to buy because you're that hot and sweaty.
You buy two. You have to buy two.
And I might note out, they did a 25-cent surcharge on refrigerated items. So for stuff that was being chilled in the fridge at the local markets around where I was staying, they charged for actually chilling it for you as like an added benefit. That's how hot.
Benidorm may have done that without me even realising. Because to be honest, when you go in and it's like €1.50 for like a 4 litre, like a 2 litre bottle of water, it's like, yep, give me 2 of them. That's fine.
Absolutely. But do let us know in the comments how hot you've been. And I think one thing I'm curious for is when people go on holiday, what their kind of gaming habits are. I read a book. I read Stephen Fry's Mythos, which was really good. That was off the back of going to see Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. I did take my Switch 2. Didn't even take it out the box once. I was just that occupied with doing things and probably being too damn hot. I was like, I don't want to sit and play with something. I just want to either read a book, chill in the pool, go for a walk, do whatever while I melted on site. But have you got any gaming rituals that you take away with yourself?
I'm not a gaming on holiday person. Good. When I've travelled solo, I've always chucked my Switch in my bag because if you sat in an airport on your own for like 2 hours,
yes, of course,
you need something to do. And on flights, but if you're travelling with someone, I don't think you need it. A longer flight, I think something over maybe 4 hours. I think that's where actually that's where I think I need some in-flight entertainment. Yeah. But when I get once that would be the only thing I would game for. Like, there's not enough time in the holiday to sit down and game out doing stuff.
Agreed. I always find during the holiday you wanted to be a bit more passive. Like, just sit back and chill and like let the entertainment come to you. Although one of our gripes,
I don't want to be passive or just sitting around by the pool, maybe reading a book, occasionally diving in the pool because you get too warm. Or on the night, go out and see what's there.
Absorb in some culture. And boy, what culture we have for you all this week, folks, because we have a great show lined up for you all. But before we get into all that, don't forget to ring that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the content. Subscribe and follow us and share us on all social media channels at GamerGuildTV. We do have a merchandise store, in fact. Go check that out. There's loads of great outfits, gear. And as the seasons change and we shift back into autumn, which is on the horizon, and go check out some of our jumpers and hoodies because they are toasty warm and they're nice and sharp too. Weekly live streams for this past week. There's kind of one in the past and one in the future. We'll get into them with our actual news stories. But yes, Lord of the Rings War in the North, the first opening 55 to an hour minutes are available now on the channel. And this coming week, keep your eyes peeled, Richie, for none other than Wolverine Origins, or X-Men Origins Wolverine, to give it its full title. So in the lead up to Insomniac's Wolverine, which comes out in about 4 weeks, I've been playing through the PlayStation 3, much revered, X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is the tie-in to the, of course, terrible movie that came out after the original 2 X-Men movies, where, can you remember for a brief moment we were going to get...
It's not actually that bad, the movie.
I mean, compared to X-Men 1, 2...
they completely cock up Deadpool, but the movie itself is actually okay.
What about Will.i.am with his cowboy hat? Or the fact Gambit didn't get to be in it for more than 10 seconds? There's more.
Yeah,
there's more things. There's more choices.
It's entertaining.
It's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible. But the internet hasn't looked at it fondly. However, this game they have now. I've been playing the Uncaged edition, which if you don't get the Uncaged edition, the one that was available on Nintendo at the time, didn't come with any gore. So no blood.
You're stuck in a cage and you can't get out.
That's it. The whole game you're just in its cage. But yeah, basically it's one of those classic hack and slash third person action RPGs. But combat is super fun. Very interesting to play it, kind of leading into Insomniac to see what they do, because I feel like the general world has forgot about this version of the game. So everything that Insomniac do, it's going to feel like fresh and new. A bit like we kind of had with Spider-Man when that launched in the PS4, where everyone was like, this is amazing. But if you played the Beanox Amazing Spider-Man games, they weren't too far away from Insomniac's, I think people forget about them.
Idea, but they didn't have the technology,
the tools
to execute the same level.
Exactly. But yes, that'll be up this week. So if you are keen on the upcoming new game, or maybe you're looking for a bit of retro nostalgia, because this game came out in 2000. When did it come out? 2000. When did the movie come out? 2000 and looking for it on the box. 2009 was when the movie came out. So yeah, this must have been about a tie-in game. So around then. So a long while ago. You're talking what, 17 plus years. So it does hold up quite well. I think, as with most PlayStation 3 titles, like it's a bit rough around the edges. Frame rate's not the best, but the cutscenes look fantastic. They've got Hugh Jackman's voice and likeness. So, and Liv Schreiber, who plays Sabretooth, he's in it as well. Some of the other characters, not so much. I feel like it's one of those where they got the movie tie-in script loosely, but didn't know who was playing the characters. So as it was in development, they kind of just had to put placeholders in.
They didn't have the budget. They blew all the budget on Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, there's some things that happen in the early points of the plot, and I'm thinking, this isn't the movie plot. It's like loosely the locations are the same, but the thread tying it all together isn't quite there. But that'll be available this week. Go check that out. Don't know how many parts it's going to be. I'm hoping 4, so it just leads in perfectly to Wolverine coming out on the 15th of September. But Richie, aside from all that, we do like to start every show by talking about what we've been playing. Obviously, you and Tom caught up last week. What have you been chipping away at in my absence?
So, everyone in listeners show knows this story, but while I was away, I actually started reading the East 8 novel.
Novel?
Yeah, there's a novel. I had it already on my Kindle from when I can't remember, when the novel first came out. I think it must have been on Amazon or something there too. I actually do not remember acquiring it, but it was already on my Kindle. I hadn't touched my Kindle in years. I was like, oh, that'll do. I'll read that on holiday. So when I got home, I started playing the game. It was on the PlayStation sale. I think I paid for like a tenner for it, for the PS5 version. Perfect. Which is, I mean, I played the game on Stadia.
I remember,
day, so I was like I was reading the book. I was like, I was laying there by the pool going, I want to play the game.
So is that the one before Monstrum Nox?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I remember that one.
It's the first one I played. It's of the two. It's the better of the two I've played.
Nice.
Obviously, there's way more than 2 in the series because it's easy.
Yeah, of course.
Monstrum Nox is 9, and there is an East 10 already out, which I haven't played yet. But yeah, it's just one of them. I've got some time. It's just like it's quite just arcadey, actiony in terms of the combat. Doesn't take itself too serious. It's just fun. So I'm enjoying it.
Fantastic. Great stuff. I've been playing since I got home. I found a little bit of time to chip away at the Halo campaign Evolved on PlayStation 5. Right. So I'm probably about maybe halfway through that now, just to kind of doing a couple of chapters at a time. I did get a stream up on the channel, I think, before I went away, if I recall. I'm sure I did that. When you can't even remember now if I... Yeah, I did. I did a thumbnail for it, so I definitely did. There's definitely one up on the channel. So yeah, I played a bit more. I'm playing it in third person as well, so it's completely a unique new experience. In the first look, the one thing that begrudged me is to unlock third person mode in the opening 10 minutes when you're on the command bridge of the is it the Pillar of Autumn is the name of the big ship. Apparently you have to interact with the captain, and then you go on to do the next mission with Cortana. You're supposed to just go behind 2 of the ship's pilots, drop down some stairs, and there's a skull, and you collect a skull, and that unlocks third person mode. So if you don't find that skull and don't know where to go, it's just not in the settings. It's not available to you. It's basically an add-on that you have to do when you boot up the campaign. So I'm getting in the campaign thinking, I want to try out third-person mode. dicked around for like 10, 15 minutes thinking, am I being stupid? Did I miss that? Is it not got third person mode? And then had to back out, do the chapter again, find that particular skull, then back out again and restart the chapter with the skull applied. And it was like, what an odd way to add a new feature to a remastered game. Like,
yeah, that seems it's a full ground up remake, isn't it? This time,
Unreal.
So that's a weird way. Instead of just giving you the option to went on start. Do you want to play in third or first or third person? This can be changed in the settings at any time.
It must be fixed in a patch, because if you ask me, if you didn't know it existed, like I'd only read it because we covered it on the news. So my guess is 95% of people who play the game don't know it exists. And if you miss it in that first couple of minutes, that's it. You play through the rest of the campaign without even a nod to it. So yeah, it seems like a bit of a false start. Because again, how many PlayStation people would love to play it in third person?
Yeah, is it really, really weird playing Halo in third person? Because it feels a bit wrong.
I mean, I'm enjoying it. Like, you play when you drive the Warthog, it's in third person. The cutscenes are in third person, so it just kind of feels natural to me. But maybe that's just because that's my preference anyway. But looks gorgeous, plays fun, and yeah, definitely recommend it. And it still is surreal playing it on the PlayStation instead of an Xbox. But here we are. Another one I have been playing, because I picked up a new phone this week and I wanted to give it a mention, a shout out. I picked up the Galaxy Fold 8, the new one. And the reason I like it so much is because
Have you been watching Spider-Man?
He does have it in there, actually, maybe. I have seen that, but no.
He does?
It's the Fold 8, so the form factors, I always put it akin to a Sony Walkman. So it's like stubby rather than long.
That does look cool.
But because it opens up into this form factor, games, or basically any old cartoons or anime, play beautifully on the 4x3 display. I've been playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. And it plays, just because of the aspect ratio, obviously, is 4x3, like your old PC monitor used to be back in the day. But yeah, any old cartoons, Pokemon and stuff like that, X-Men animated series, plays beautifully, all on touchscreen. But then the fact that it just goes and it's all tucked away.
You know what? I do kind of like the idea between a fold, because in one sense it's just your normal phone, but then it opens out into basically having a nice tablet as well.
Yeah, that's basically what I do. Use it normal form throughout the day, and then when I have a bit of spare time, I'm sat down chilling, or let's face it, on the toilet, open that bad boy up, and you got a tablet to crack on, and it weighs the same as my old phone. Really enjoying it.
I'm sticking with my Pixel.
Nice. The Pixel 11 comes out this week.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Shout out to the Pixel 11. Right, Richie, we do have some news to talk about. Let's get into it. We can't do that, though, until you introduce us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, a.k.a. The News.
The News. And as always, the news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, the fantastic members of the channel who support us that extra little bit further, just like you can, from as little as 99p. You get early access to this very show, weekly live streams, sometimes special editions that go up, and stickers and badges next to your name in the chat. So shout out to you, guild member heroes who've supported us for a long, long time. Coming up 7 years, actually, Richie. It's 7 years next month, which we'll do something for it. We don't know what it is yet. Don't know what schedules are. We're not very organised, but we'll do something to commemorate 7 years, even if it's just a post on the internet. But speaking of posts on the internet, we've got plenty of news, and story number one is Wolverine previews. I mentioned it ahead of the news kicking in, but a lot of news outlets got their hands on it this past week, and I want to just give a little bit of a roundup, as this is probably the next big tentpole game we get, if the only one before GTA hits, if memory serves me right, if I look at my little calendar. You've got, of course, is it Control Fest or is it Plague Tale first as well? I feel like they both come out in August and September.
Controllers after Wolverine, I believe.
Right, so that means
I'm not sure about Plague Tale off the top of my head.
That must be August then. One is definitely August, so I think you're right with that one. So yeah, August it is.
Yeah, Control's the 24th of September. Wolverine's the 15th.
Yeah, Plague Tale must be.
I don't have the date for Plague Tale.
I'm going to go 24th of August. Just
27th of August.
So close. But speaking of Wolverine, couple of reviews. Let's read a bit of it and just get into it. As I'm sure many people in our audience have just seen, as you said, the brand new Spider-Man movie. If anyone's been watching the D23 news that's been coming out live from, I think it's in California at the moment. Hugh Jackman appearing to do some stuff ahead of Avengers Doomsday. You've got a new cast member now. So basically, the X-Men hype for the next 10 years is going to be there. But is ahead of the game. Eurogamer describes it as ferocious, destructive, and cinematic, but a little predictable. Reading from their blog, they say, Logan's directness is an altogether different proposition to the mobility of Spider-Man. He's a force of nature, something I think Insomniac effectively conveys through those highly destructible environments, and a combat that ratchets up in its intensity until Wolverine is in full rampage mode. And despite the design challenges, Insomniac has still created moments where traversal and combat melt together brilliantly. Does Marvel's Wolverine reinvent the action game wheel? Probably not. Yet, as an entertaining cinematic spectacle and faithful rendering of Wolverine, I think it's going to do just fine, bub. Games Radar say Insomniac has crushed my fears of a post-Spider-Man slump. They say Insomniac has repurposed the fundamentals of its previous games here, yes, but it's done so in a way that feels appropriate for Logan. The turn from friendly neighborhood wall crawler to this broody new hero makes all the difference. And I guess throwing an IGN one in there to round up some previews. They say, overall, I walked away from my time with Wolverine impressed, but not thoroughly blown away. It's clear that Insomniac is still holding a lot of cards close to his chest with regards to the story, and that's the element that have proved to be the most interesting to me thus far. Combat absolutely nails the spirit of Wolverine, and it's very fundamentally sound, but leaves me with some questions as to how it will hold up over the course of the entire campaign. So, Richie, bit of a mixed bag there. Yeah. I've been going into this...
I'll say that all previews are quite positive.
It's
not reinventing the wheel, but every reviewer seems to come back to, but they're kind of nailing what it is to be Wolverine.
Agreed. I've listened to a few podcasts this past week, and I fear that a lot of people are almost like comparing it to Spider-Man too, just because it's the same studio and it's Marvel. They're almost like noting it, like docking it points because it's not quite Spider-Man. And it's like, even hero to hero, I think we said a couple of weeks ago, Spider-Man is more popular, full stop. So
yeah,
it's not a one-to-one comparison that you're making, but some of the previews seem to be leaning towards that.
I think the key for this is not to make it Spider-Man, to make it Wolverine. That's the key. Get the action, feel like you're authentic Wolverine. Like the best form, like when you played Spider-Man PS4 for the first time, it was kind of, this is what playing as Spider-Man swinging through New York should feel like. I want that experience as Wolverine, that equivalent experience for Wolverine. What it should feel like to be Wolverine should be very aggressive, quite tactile almost. But it's very different to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's very fluid. Wolverine shouldn't be.
Yeah. Should be a brute
character. Yeah, it should be a bit more of a brute. And yeah, he's not going to just like seamlessly spin around everywhere. It's not who the character is. I want the action to feel like Wolverine, not to feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by the previews seem to be leaning towards that. They seem to have nailed that.
Yeah, it's...
And then you slap in a really good story and you got one kick-ass of a game there.
Honestly, from when I've been playing Origins... If they can even get close to the combat, there's one move in Origins, which is a leap, where he literally kind of gets down on his haunches and launches himself, claws first, into somebody's chest. I use that move so much in Origins because it's brutal. You can get around the battlefield as quick as anything. You take them down in one hit, and then when you're on top of them, you just basically hack at their face. So it's a brutal move. So if they can get that kind of like, you know, like that Arkham Asylum, like snap-on combat, what Spider-Man borrowed a lot from... it is just weird how the game seems to... I've seen it from a few corners of the internet. It's getting stick because the Wolverine doesn't quite look like Hugh Jackman. There's people saying like it's Temu Wolverine. And the counter-argument to that is he looks like the voice actor. He looks like the guy who's playing him. So saying it doesn't look like Wolverine, I think this is where Spider-Man sometimes always gets a pass because he's usually masked for like 95%.
And he's now on his third iteration of actor, so people are accustomed to not having this one locked-in actor playing him.
Yeah.
Like,
even just the voice.
You know
it's like,
what?
is Wolverine Australian from now on? He is in the shows, he is in the canon, but like he never was in the comics and stuff. It's just like Hugh Jackman, he was never 6 foot tall.
Well, this is what I was going to mention, is like, I haven't read any Wolverine comics, but I did watch the 90s cartoon X-Men show, and that Wolverine is very different to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and they're both equally good. So this is another interpretation of the character. I don't feel like it doesn't need to be Hugh Jackman as long as it's still good. And they very will quickly, I think, win people over. Yeah. The whole Uncanny Valley thing is not how I thought it'd look. 10 minutes into the game, you will not give a fuck about that if the game's good.
And that's the kind of the disservice that the Square Enix Guardians of the Galaxy game got, where because Guardians 1 and 2 and then Avengers at the time was so popular, and it was the only medium we'd ever seen those characters in, because they were unknown. That entire roster was like unknown across the world at that point, and they were popularized by the James Gunn movies. But then when the game came out, everyone was like, oh, that's not Rocket. Oh, that doesn't quite look like Gamora. Oh, that's that's definitely not Chris Pratt. And the game kind of got dragged through the coals for it, like the Marvel's Avengers game as well. The same thing got hit by it. It doesn't look like Chris Evans.
But I said at the time, I felt all these games, the characters looked different enough from the actor while still looking like the character that I didn't get any uncanny valley at all looking at them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not looking at Chris Pratt as Star-Lord.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a different interpretation of Star-Lord. I think they get that uncanny valley when they try to make it look too close to the actor. You know, when they go like, let's get as close to the actor as we can before we have to start paying for his likeness.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's when I think you hit issues. You're better off just going, we're not going to make it look like Chris Pratt. We're going to make it look, get this comic, forget about Chris Pratt, open up the comics, have a read, make it look like that.
Yeah. It is, in a way, I can see it. I can see why but at the same time, I'm willing to overlook it, because loads of planets need to align for perfect things to happen. It will be the same in a manner of respect. Remember how blown away we were when we saw the Indiana Jones trailer and it was Harrison Ford's likeness and it sounded like Harrison Ford? That was like the perfect mashup. And I'd imagine Marvel's Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy and every other game, Spider-Man, would have worked and probably sold more or had more goodwill if it did have the likeness of the on-screen actors. But as you said, that's just not a reality that we live in, with copyright, likeness laws, people dying.
Yeah, I slightly disagree. I think it would have sold more and have a bit more goodwill going in, but I think the biggest problems of Marvel's Avengers was actually just the gameplay. Once you got out of the single-player story, the multiplayer sucked. Yeah. It was just boring and bland.
Repetitive.
So no matter, you could get the best actors in the world in there, have every character looking exactly like the on-screen actor, you still got a pretty boring, bland game.
Yeah, agreed. But
that had no real life to it, so...
Yeah. I certainly don't think Wolverine's going to be that, though.
No, completely different game.
I am curious where they're going to go with it, because similar to you, like outside of the movies, I'm a bit naive to like what storylines Wolverine, if he's not necessarily directly teaming up with the X-Men, which we know Jean Grey's in it, we know Mystique's in it, Sabretooth is in it, but then there's a couple of characters I think we saw in the trailer who we were like, I don't even know who that is. So it's interesting what kind of freedom Insomniac have to explore Marvel, because they will be tied to, don't do any storylines that link up with MCU, don't clash too much with the X-Men stuff, because we know Disney have them on quite a tight leash with timelines and consistency now. So it'll be interesting to see what they can have flex with.
I think they've got a bit more free reign than you'd think, because I don't think they need to worry about the MCU, because it's very much a different universe. This is not in the MCU. They're not pretending it's in the MCU. So they could conceivably do a version of Wolverine's origin story. Then post Doomsday, there was a Wolverine film that covers his origin story, treading a lot of the similar ground, because ultimately there's some elements of his origin story that are locked in. And I don't think that would be a problem.
Do you think we get origin story?
Because I think people are smart enough to know this is not the MCU, and if they do an origin story there, you can watch a movie and have a different origin story for the same character.
Yeah, I think we know that. I think from a marketing beast, that's where they have concern.
I don't think they'll do an origin story. They didn't do one with Peter Parker as Spider-Man. I think they're banking on people knowing the character well enough to know they'll hint at his origin story, but he's already going to be the Wolverine, I think he's already going to have the adamantium claws at the start of the game, I reckon.
Well, this is where we've seen one of the early trailers, he's teaming up with Jean Grey, so it's kind of like, is he an X-Man at this point? Is the school
everything
exist?
We've seen, he's already in the blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I think he's going to already be an established X-Man at the start of the game.
Right.
Because we don't need to do an origin story for this character. Let's just jump straight in and you can fill in the blanks with whatever you want with your headcanon.
That's very true.
And they'll hint at what happened.
Well, speaking about the yellow that he's in, a PlayStation blog dropped this week, and Sony announced that we are getting a limited edition PlayStation 5 in both yellow and black, and some DualSense controllers to boot. Pre-orders go up, I think, this week, actually. So if you listen to this on Monday, I think they go up tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. This usually happens with the big games. We had a Ghost of Yotei one. We had... actually, I feel like we even had a Marathon controller tie-in. What are your thoughts on these controllers?
I like them a lot. They haven't overdone it for once. Sony have showed that bit of restraint. And I like the yellow one, but I think I really do love the white one.
Oh, really?
I think it's almost like a slightly silver in there. I think it just looks cleaner. The yellow's a bit more out there just by being yellow.
Yeah.
But I think the white one is really nice.
Yeah.
And you can buy the plates as well for your existing PlayStation, so it's not just buy the console.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, they've because that's one of the things I think that is impacting this game and other games like it at the moment, and we'll see that with the Ghost of Yotei story we get onto. The internet will not let this physical media cancellation go. Like, if you look at the comments on any Wolverine video, any Ghost of Yotei, any PlayStation tweet, all the comments are discs. Give us our discs back. Physical media forever. I can see this going on for a while. Just like I don't think people are going to let it sit. So when this was announced, the uproar already for like, why is it digital only? Why is it digital only? The saving grace is they have, as you said, announced the plates, so you can get your customizable plates to go with your disc drive, but
they don't sell disc drives with PlayStation anymore. You have to buy an additional accessory. So this is the current crop of PlayStations as they are. That is just what they sell, whether they've got their Wolverine plates on or not. They don't make the normal disc PlayStation anymore. Yeah. You have to buy one of these and a disc drive separate. That's just how it is. Yeah. That's your answer. So as much as I went very much in the camp of keep physical media going, it's better than digital. Technically, this is their lineup, and they're not cheating you out on anything.
True. Well, the PlayStation 5 digital edition in Marvel's Wolverine Battle Yellow will set you back $569.99, and the DualSense wireless controller, also in Battle Yellow, will set you back $74.99 for the controller.
Is it bad that $74.99 for the controller? Jesus.
Console cover alone is £64.99.
That's some of this is just stupid money, to be honest.
For a little bit of plastic that was probably printed and
which is probably going to be hidden
for the most part.
The problem is, I do kind of want the controllers, potentially even both of them, because my controllers are starting to die,
right.
Nats are starting to die.
One each.
We could do with another controller or two, but I'm reluctant to pay £75 for a controller, to be honest.
Technology. Imagine if the controller had like RAM in it or something, memory.
I don't think. Wasn't the current DualSense 5 DualSense is about £60 at the moment?
You can pick them up. I've found you can pick them up for usually about 50, quite regular on discounts through like Argos and Amazon all the time. Like not the fancy ones, but you can pick up a DualSense for less than 50. So
on Argos, the white DualSense, your standard issue one is $59.99.
Yeah.
Amazon is discounted to $59.93, so £60. So yeah, it's another £15 for it, and it's like I don't want to pay that extra £15. Some of the other ones are £65, so it feels like this is £10 more than it should be.
Yeah, agreed. Let's have a look, see what Argos.
And that's where it's like, if I'm thinking about buying a new controller, do I want to spend more money for it? Is it worth it? And I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, Argos has got them for $59.99 as well. But even play. I mean, at one point you could just keep going till they die. But moving on away from Wolverine to some other PlayStation news, we also learned that Ghost of Yotei is getting a complete edition coming to PlayStation 5 October the 1st. This also comes with new features and a new original story. So I'll read from the blog just so you get the idea of it. They're reintroducing it with Ghost of Yotei Echoes of Sekigahara and a narrative expansion split between the present day and flashbacks to Atsu's time on the mainland. You'll meet Nagato, a figure from Atsu's past who has arrived in Enzo. In the present, you'll explore a previously unseen valley once inhabited by the Snake and his gang of loyal followers, the Vipers. In the past, you'll experience Atsu's time in the Battle of Sekigahara and a key moment in her life before she returned home for a quest for vengeance. You'll meet new enemies and find new weapons, new armor sets, new dyes, and more. They're also introducing Ghost of Yotei Most Wanted. This is a brand new single-player combat survival mode. our spin on a roguelike. You'll accept bounties in order to start runs, where taking down enemies you'll earn perks, as well as unlock additional characters to play as. You'll have to... we'll have so much more to show you soon, but then there's a trailer for it as well. So there's DualSense mode, and then they've also added that Ghosts of Yotei Legends, which is the co-op online mode, is also going to get kind of like new maps, new setups and such. If you already have the game, you can upgrade for about $14 to $15 or pounds to the kind of upgrade complete edition, or otherwise buy it in complete form, because it is getting a disc release. Although I will caveat that, apparently the disc release is not going to have the new content included on the disc. So it's the original game that comes in the original disc, but...
Basically, they've got some discs in a warehouse and
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely what's happening. So they'll just repackage it. I will say, to their credit, the artwork is the same black and white and gold artwork that the Ghosts of Tsushima Complete Edition had. So if you have both of them in Complete Edition, they'll look nice next to each other as a set, which Insomniac did tweet out about. So someone in the art department has thought about it, because I hate nothing more than when you have like Blu-rays or something on the shelf and the sequel to the movie has a completely different spine or a completely different color palette, and you're like, they're from the same thing. Why have you gone so different? And it's probably because in the 3-4 year gap, they've probably got a new art director, a new marketing team. So much has changed that no one checked back on it.
And they forget that collectors exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're probably your biggest audience for your physical media as well.
Agreed. But Ghosts of Yotei apparently surpassed 5 million copies sold, give or take. Getting some story DLC expansion, always good. And seeing a complete edition, I always appreciate that as well. I always think if you've not got the game first time around, what better time to jump in than with like a director's cut of it, essentially.
So it's, I mean, for Ghosts of Yotei pretty much starts off in the fight against the snake. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like it's just going to fill in basically that part of Atsu's quest. For the single player DLC, and then a roguelike mode, which it's there if you want it.
I never touched beyond scratching the surface of the Legends mode this time. I know you and me have a really good time with it for the first game.
Literally didn't touch it at all.
Yeah, I think it was the delay. I think I'd finished the game, and then by the time it came out, I was like, I've moved on.
Yeah. Is PlayStation Plus required for it?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Probably is, which is probably one of the reasons why I went, I'm not bothering, because I don't have PlayStation Plus.
What was I going to say? I forgot. In terms of Ghosts of Yotei, though, now they've kind of wrapped up, or they're wrapping up with the complete edition. Do you think Sucker Punch move on to a new IP? Do they do a Ratchet and Clank in between, or do you think... sorry, that's Insomniac, not a Ratchet and Clank. Or where do you think they go from here now they've kind of put in a nice, tidy little bow on Ghosts of Yotei? Do we get a third entry, or do they do something new in between?
I'd like a third entry. I don't feel that Ghosts of Yotei landed the way they expected, but it still did well. But I don't know. I think it depends. Do they have a good enough story? That's where I think it comes down to whether they do another one in the Ghost franchise. Do they have the story there? Because I think the story of Yotei wasn't as good as Tsushima, unfortunately, and also was very close to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Here's a list of characters you have to go hunt down because they killed your family. It's a quest for a revenge. It was very much the same premise. I don't know. I think going back to something like a Sly Cooper or an Infamous could be a nice break for the franchise before you go back to it.
And a palate cleanser for the devs, even. I think a good task would be bring Infamous 1, 2 up to modern consoles, because they're currently locked on PlayStation 3.
Get a couple of quick remasters of Infamous 1, 2 and Second Son, just to PS5 standard.
Yep.
Probably even the same with the Sly Cooper franchise, while working on either a new Infamous or a new Sly Cooper, or even a bit of both.
Yeah. Could.
And then return, then they've got 3 franchises on the go: the Ghost franchise, Infamous franchise, and Sly Cooper. Yeah, which that's pretty good to have.
We probably are due. I mean, look at how, I know they're not as well revered, but we spoke about the success of kind of Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and stuff, and I think Mascots, we've seen it recently with like the Croc remastered and the Gex remasters. Like, there's clearly an audience to bring these 90s to 2000 games back from that kind of PS2 era. it seems like easy money that takes very little work, and it would allow you to get your devs, like, again, a bit of a fresh start, test some tools, maybe dabble into like other engines that are used by other PlayStation studios to kind of flex your muscles a little bit and not get too fatigued, because again, going immediately into like another huge open world game, you'd imagine is quite draining on your dev team, especially if it's like living your life in feudal Japan. And as good as an awesome as a time era that is, yeah, your devs might want to stretch a little bit.
I'm just thinking, you don't force the third game of the franchise unless you have the story. But if you have that story that really itching at you, we need to work on this, go for it. If not, maybe you do go do something creatively different as a studio.
Yeah. Ultimately, though, it comes down to what PlayStation want. And are they willing to let the franchise sit for another 6 to 7 years? Or are they going, no, it makes us money, give us a third one, please.
But the thing is, I think if they say pitch something like Sly Cooper and go, it's not going to take us 6 years to make it, it's going to take us 2 or 3 years. We'll go, and in that time, we're also going to do remasters of Infamous 1 and 2. So in the next 3 years, you're going to get 3 games out of us. PlayStation might go, you know what? It's not going to be hugely costly, and it gets some stuff churned out.
Well, it's not like they have a Blue Point to do these remasters anymore, so get your teams on it. But exciting stuff, good. And if you've not played it, definitely recommend it. Or Tsushima if you've not played that one first. Moving on.
I think any game in the Ghost franchise now, I think will be a PS6 game anyway.
Yeah. Yes, I think it will be too.
Yeah.
Moving on a little bit to some cloud streaming news. There was a reveal this week that the cloud streaming app that lets PlayStation players stream their games to the Steam Deck and Steam Machine is now opened with a playtest, but it allows you to do it without having a PlayStation 5 console. So similar to you've been able to use like the Portal for a year or so now without having an actual PS5. You sign up for an account, make sure you got cloud gaming.
Some limited games.
Yep. It's a Asobi Remote Player. So don't get it confused with the people who make Astrobot. But they've been doing public testing on Steam Deck, Steam Machine, and other OS and Linux devices, which basically streams your PS4 or your PS5 over to your deck. So I would rather it was an official PlayStation 1. However, as far as kind of open platform sources stuff go, it's a great way, I think, to get those PlayStation exclusive on PC formats without, as we know, PlayStation have now pulled back on the PC ports. So if you do want to play Ghost of Yotei Full Edition or the upcoming God of War game, you ain't going to be able to do that outside of a PS5. So this could be your next thing if you're a Steam Deck lover or a Steam Machine lover out there.
Yeah. There's 2 big updates I think the Portal still needs. One, the full PlayStation Cloud experience. So all them PS3 games that are streamable only on your PS5, why can't I stream them on Portal? And 2, multiple accounts. So I don't have to log out of an account. My partner pick up a phone, scan a QR code to log back in, and go through the first time set up notifications. Just like when you boot up a PlayStation, pick what account you're on, and we're in.
Yeah,
like that shouldn't be difficult.
They confirm that's coming though. I feel like I've read that somewhere.
Just do it. Like, it feels like it's one of them software updates that wouldn't be that difficult. It already exists on the on the PlayStation anyway, so you already know how to do it. You just need to take that same thing and apply it to the Portal.
Yeah. Agreed.
They could probably knock it out in a couple of weeks if they put the effort to do it. You know how Xbox are actually kind of like Asher to like get a bit of goodwill is just doing like knocking off a few things that like these are going to be quick to tick off quickly. It feels like one of them, and Sony should probably do that for a few things, like get a few things that are lower priority just ticked off so they're not sat there for ages.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Speaking of lower priority, one thing I would not have expected is Aspyr over at Party Embrace Group to be working on a Lord of the Rings War in the North remaster, because that's what we got this week, an absolute stealth drop from the Fires of Mordor out of nowhere. It appeared midweek on PS5. This is the original 2011 PlayStation 3 game. It just got a sneaky Legacy Edition for 20 quid, but you get a 10% discount if you're a PlayStation Plus member. Jump into this action RPG from way back when, Richie. There's a first look up on the channel now. I played the opening hour of it because it's one of my favourite Lord of the Rings games, and it's been 16 years since I last played it, give or take. And yeah, out of nowhere, as I said the other day, I'm halfway through my Halo playthrough and I'm dabbling in Roller Coaster Tycoon, and then out of nowhere, the way gaming works, I was sat in the garden, I think, and I just saw like a YouTube video pop up going like trailer for War in the North, and I was like, out now? And I had to like do a double take and go, no, really? But there it was for less than 20 quid. And I think the reason it shocked me the most is because obviously we had Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, and then the kind of all the rights, if you remember, got split up. So I think Embracer Group now have the game distribution rights, but WB holds some movie tie-in game distribution rights, and then Middle-earth Enterprises
and when there's
have
when
books.
there's a bit of crossover, it's like where do the rights
fall?
fall?
And not only that, it's obviously with older games. So this one in particular, War of the North, which by the way I have a beautiful steelbook for from back and the back as well. It's got it's the three symbols from the three characters. So you've got your elven one, your Gondor, and your dwarf and shield all in there as well. Snowblind Studios, they don't exist anymore. So the people who made it, they aren't around. They got folded into Monolith, which would eventually go on to make Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, which then ironically went to do a Wonder Woman game, and then they all got shut down. So the poor bastards who made this classic don't exist anymore. So the fact that out of all the games you would have had between licensing agreements and time, and then just randomly to drop it, Amazon have Rings of Power. That's the other one, right? So the licenses is all over the damn place. But yeah, it's here. There's an hour of it out. Did you ever get around to playing War in the North?
I played the original back on Steam in the day, but the first time I knew this was coming out is when I got a notification from GamerGuild on YouTube for the first look. I hadn't seen the news by the time you actually recorded our first look.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, War in the North. It's like, wait, that's a remaster. Awesome.
Yeah, Legacy Edition.
That's a pickup at some point.
Yeah, and it's again, great price. Less than 20 quid, I think, is a great price point for the type of game it is. And yeah, for those who haven't played it, it takes place at the same time as the events of the movies, to keep it simple, take place. However, you play as three separate characters, a human, a dwarf, and an elf. And you basically go off on side quests that helps the Fellowship on their mission by, keeping goblins at bay in one area or defeating the enemy in one area. And basically keeping the eye distracted away from the Fellowship's activities so they can sneak on through with that pesky ring. There's a villain from the north, I think he's called Agendour, if I remember, who's like one of the, I think he's a Dark Numenorian, I want to say, is his character. But you see ring wraiths are there. You introduce like Aragorn, Gandalf at times. I think the opening level takes place in the Prance and Pony Inn. But then weirdly enough, because it's like an RPG, you can do that very kind of like Skyrim thing where you can just go and talk to anyone. And some of them will give you missions, some will give you context, some of them will tell you about what's going on. But because it's in that kind of Warner Brothers Lord of the Rings world, it all aesthetically looks right. Like the inn, the characters, they all kind of fit that world, that aesthetic that from the Peter Jackson movies you're familiar with. That's why it works so much. I did clock, which I didn't know back in the day, the Ranger in the game is voiced by Nolan North, doing his best English fantasy. Because, of course, everything in the early 2000s, 2010s was Nolan North. And the elf in it is voiced by Laura Bailey as well. So
I thought you were going to turn around and go, also Nolan North.
Or Troy Baker. But, yeah, you can hear him through it, but it's interesting to think, like, all these games that I played back in the day, I wasn't aware of it. But, yeah, first look's out now. If you've not played it before, go check it out. It's definitely recommended. But I think the more interesting tidbits that came out of this story are Limited Run Games are going to do a physical release. So shout out to Limited Run Games, still clinging on to their business until PlayStation shut them down in a couple of years' time. They didn't say when. I guess a stealth drop has meant they've kind of had to keep everything quiet up until now.
I still think Limited Run Games have a life after this by supporting like all the retro titles and the retro consoles.
Yeah, as long as they're allowed to print the discs, though. That's the if Sony literally stopped them printing the discs, that's going to be a problem. But there is a Switch 2 edition coming as well later on, so that's going to be on the way. But more importantly, the one I think that everyone's kind of jumping on the bandwagon of is when Aspyr posted out regarding this one, they confirmed there is more Lord of the Rings games on the way, that's the most tantalizing tease of all, because I think everyone, when they saw this announcement, immediately went, oh, that's amazing. What about insert these games? Now, where would you go, Richie? Because these, as I said, this one is Warner Brothers. So these are the last people who did do Shadow of Mordor and stuff. All the good ones everyone else was thinking of, they're EA. So that's a whole different kettle of fish right now.
It depends, though, who owns the publishing rights. EA may have sold the rights.
Did they revert back to Middle-earth Enterprises at some point?
Maybe. It might be a case of EA. It might even turn around and EA go, you know what? We own the rights to these games. If you want to do a remaster, that's fine. We want to cut all your profits.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? Like, seriously, it's one of them. It's like, it's an old game. If you're EA, we have no interest in doing this ourselves. We'll take 20% of your profits and you can just remaster them. Mm-hmm. Have fun, guys. Yep. Like, keep us posted on how things are going. We're not putting any money into the project. Yeah. We'll just take some profit. Yeah. I'd make that deal if I was like an executive at EA because it's just an easy one.
I don't think EA, the only downside is I don't think EA have any studios of the right size or the willingness to want to do it. I think they could let it go and maybe take a cut of the profits, as you said, but I think it would be someone probably within the Embracer group, like a AA studio or a port studio.
Which is where someone like an Aspire comes in. Like, yeah, okay, well, we're quite happy to outsource this. Mm-hmm. We'll co-publish it alongside the Embracer group. You do all the work. We'll take a cut of the profits for your access to whatever rights we hold.
Agreed. But what it
might even just sell the rights and just go, fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing where the likeness and music and stuff, the Peter Jackson type games, they are EA, but ultimately the rights do sit with Warner Brothers, who own the movie rights. No, Warner Brothers have the Peter Jackson ones. Wow. Amazon have the. Oh, it's so convoluted. They have like the Third Age stuff that they're doing with the Rings of Power, but then it's so split, and you can reference stuff that is in the Silmarillion, but you can't do the Silmarillion, and it's all over the place. Yeah, it's an absolute mess.
To be honest, I can't see like Two Towers and Return of the King getting remastered then, because they have to make deals with Warner and EA, arguably with Warner and EA. And then probably even the Tolkien estate might get involved, and that just feels like a mess.
Yeah, and I mean EA, of course, now newly owned by the Saudi group, the PIF people. So maybe new leadership come in and go, actually, you know what? Hell yeah, we'll do that. Like you just don't know, do you? Or is it not big enough money?
I don't know if you saw the news from last week. They're making massive cuts to EA.
Well then, yeah. What do you want? I think a few that we.
Oh, it was $700 million worth of cuts.
Is the easiest
with BioWare potentially on the chopping block?
Of course. Is the easiest win then? Because believe it or not, they're 12, 13 years old. Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. They're like over a decade old now. Don't have native current gen ports.
They may have Embracer may have even bought the rights to them games when they acquired the Lord of the Rings games rights and stuff out of Warner Brothers.
Well, again, Monolith are done; they're gone.
Yeah. So, or it may have been. It might be one of them deals where we've bought the rights to make or remaster the games, but Warner Brothers will be down as a partial publisher and retain some profit from any works in that series.
I think these are all smartly aligned decisions, purely because if you've got The Hunt for Gollum coming out, the Andy Serkis movie, in I think not this Christmas, I think it's next Christmas, and then you've got the other movie they're doing. You've obviously got the Rings of Power season 4 coming some point this year, next year. So
3, isn't it?
I have no idea. Yeah, 3. Yes, 3.
Yes. They just take about 5 years.
Yeah, that's the problem. So you've got a lot of kind of like stuff in the pot going on to do with Lord of the Rings. If you did get the EA ones, you've of course got Lord of the Rings Conquest, which I believe was Pandemic. They don't exist anymore, but that was EA. That was the Star Wars Battlefront, but it was Lord of the Rings skin over the top of it. So you just drop into a battlefield as a Gondor soldier, an archer, kill people, and then you just win at the end of it. That was great. You've got the Third Age, which was the Final Fantasy-esque RPG, which was great in its own right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're right, you've got EA's critically acclaimed Return of the King, Two Towers, and Battle for Middle-earth, RTS, on PC. That could do with a port. I think the Xbox 360 version of Battle for Middle-earth 2 is good, but it runs like shit, because it's trying to play on console, and the 360 is obviously however old right now. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot there. You could even port some PSP games. Hell, get me Lord of the Rings Tactics ported over from the PSP.
Could even go into the Lego side of things.
Well, actually, I forgot. That's a great point, because WB and Lego are still best mates. They're still making games. Do we finally see a Lego Lord of the Rings and Hobbit collection, which I've been fighting them for years, with the Five Armies DLC included? Or do they just do, which I think they should 100% do, is Skywalker Saga its ass and give us Lego Lord of the Rings Middle-earth collection and put all Lego games in one, make it better, make it grander. But yeah, Lego. Did it with Star Wars. Do it with Batman every time. I'm sure we'll probably do another Marvel Superheroes Lego game in the next year or two. It's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's interesting stuff. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be picking up Lord of the Rings, The War in the North. It's a great name for a movie as well. If you ever want to do the actual spin-off movie that has no tie-ins, I always think you've got the Witch King. No one knows what he looks like, so you could cast him as anyone.
I could see it being a TV series, but I feel like what I want from it doesn't suit with Amazon's like vision for like
someone else needs to do it.
Power.
Give it to the Fallout team. They seem to have a good handle on movie tie-in stuff. Or fuck it, give it to HBO and give them like the grandest budget you could possibly imagine and make it dark and gritty. Moving on though, Richie, this one's a special shout out to you. Leaks this week. Special leaks, which I know Tom immediately tagged you, I think, in a post in our WhatsApp chat.
A few people have tagged me in this, in our Discord as well.
This is the 40th anniversary of course, Legend of Zelda is on the horizon, and we think Nintendo are going to go big. But yes, leaks have released of the packaging for what seems to be an upcoming Switch 2 limited edition and a limited edition Pro controller with the Zelda branding, I guess, as far as I would say. Is this now bite the bullet time, Richie? Is this talk to us?
Yes, it is. I'm going to start with the Pro controller. I think it's like 3/4 of the way to a perfect controller. The random green handle, I think, looks out of place, though. I wish that was black. That is the only criticism I have of it.
That's fair.
The Switch itself, it does have one black Joy-Con, one like green Joy-Con, but I think because they're further apart with the screen in the middle, it doesn't look as odd, and I really like it, and I like the dock, and yes, I am buying this. I'm not buying the Pro controller, but I was never buying a Pro controller anyway. I very, very oddly enough, my Switch Pro controller is actually on my desk in front of me. I very rarely have used that with my original Switch, so I think the only improvements is things like, is it like the capture button and stuff on the
there's not really much different.
Like the FaceTime stuff, which I'm never going to use. So as long as my current Pro controller works with my Switch 2 when I buy one, I don't need the controller. But I've been holding out for an Ocarina of Time Switch. This is the one I'm probably going to buy. Just
your patience.
Nintendo, it's been leaked.
It's legit as well. When you look at it, it's like absolutely.
This is looks like the legit.
Yeah,
packaging.
it's even got the 40th anniversary brand emblem in the top right, which is like that. That for me is what sold it. Anyone can do a mock-up, but the fact that they've got the detailed 40th anniversary signature on the top right is like right. That's 101 branding. That
the effort that will go into this mock-up though, like. There's even, when you see the pictures on, like, Twitter, there's even, like, corners of the box where the folder that have been dog-eared a bit. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a bit of effort for a mock-up. It doesn't look pristine. It looks believable. So, yeah, just Nintendo, it's been leaked. Accept that it's been leaked and just put the pre-order up.
Yeah. Now, the unfortunate telling question, Richie, is does this land before or after the September price increases?
It's going to be after, but I'm hoping the pre-order goes up before.
All right,
but
okay.
I don't think it will, because the strong rumours is this is going to be November.
Right. When is the actual 40th anniversary kick off? Because we know sometimes with Nintendo they're a bit all over the place with the celebrating Mario for later, then they did like the year of Yoshi, and then they're still celebrating, I'm sure, Mario's 40th, but it's been like 2 years or something. It's really weird.
I'm not sure actually when the 40th anniversary officially is. Let's see if I can find a date.
Was your Switch 1 Zelda limited edition as well?
Oh, it's my OLED one.
OLED one.
It's actually the 40th anniversary is back in February
is it?
officially. Yeah, so this is what I mean. Nintendo making a year out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the strong links we're getting with things like the ESRB ratings and stuff is that it's going to be November alongside Grand Theft Auto. Me and Tom talked about that last week.
The two enough different.
To be fair, of all the games that doesn't need to give a damn about Grand Theft Auto, it's Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. So while
it's not gonna, Grand Theft Auto's not gonna harm its sales over the long run.
So do you think this will also come with the game packed in?
Yeah, Nintendo usually do that.
So you get the
Nintendo love the bundles, don't they? With the newest game, if they've got any special edition consoles. Well,
so you've got your Zelda console, your Zelda dock, your Zelda Ocarina of Time remake
Joy-Cons.
With Joy-Cons, tied into it. All good to go. And how long has the Switch 2's been out for? About a year and a half? Well, not a year and a half.
Yeah,
it came out in June, didn't it? So it's like a year and a bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. And we're not expecting a Pokemon this year, right?
No, which is another thing that makes me believe the November date is right, because typically a Pokemon hits that mid-November slot where Ocarina of Time is rumoured to be.
It's going to take.
So we don't have our Pokemon till next year. Let's chuck Zelda in instead. Oh damn.
Fair enough. So what's your hype levels then for this overall? You've been patient. You've been holding off. You're going to be rewarded by seemingly the best edition of the console you could ask for.
My hype level is about as high as I can go without actually seeing anything of the game.
Yeah, we don't actually,
because we haven't seen anything of the game.
That is true. Yeah, so, we just got that little glimpse of Link lying down asleep, sleepy boy.
Yeah,
but
I'm all in because Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games of all time. I do want to play that game. I will play it regardless. So I'm in. I'm itching for that Nintendo direct, the Zelda direct that's going to show you gameplay footage, talk about how they've expanded the game, because I don't think it's going to be literally just one for one. I think they do need to expand it a bit. Otherwise, actually, at this point, what's the point?
Very true.
They would have been better off porting the 3DS version to Switch if they were not going to expand it. So there's already two versions of the game. Actually, one of them, you can play the original on Switch anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, I want to see what they're doing to expand the game, what the new combat system's going to look like, because, again, I don't think it's going to be one for one, but I also don't think it's going to match up exactly with, like, the Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, because that wouldn't suit Ocarina. So I was like, what? Because I think this could be the blueprint of what the next era of Zelda games is going to be after the Wild era ones.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo know what they're doing.
This is going to be them testing out, like, what would the traditional Zelda format be on modern hardware? Because Breath of the Wild changed up the formula quite a lot.
Certainly did.
So let's see. So I'm all in. I need that direct.
Yeah, it's got to be soon. It's got to be soon. Yeah, I reckon by the end of the month or maybe start of September.
Fire Emblem,
yeah,
I think it's after. When's Fire Emblem come out? Fortune's Weave. I found the date on this last week. September the 17th.
Yeah, back end of September then I reckon. Is that too late? No, October, November. Yeah, you got plenty of time.
That's what I think I said last week. Start of October, I can see the Zelda Direct.
Well, a long time coming goes for our next news story as well. Over at D23, they announced a new Simpsons movie titled The New Simpsons Movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's just called The New Simpsons Movie, which I think we knew about for some time. But it also was asked as part of like a panel. It said, does anyone tell me about a sequel or a remake of The Simpsons Hit and Run? And yeah, he says, Matt Groening, the Simpsons creator himself, says, I think the original game is coming back in some form. And then the current showrunner dipped in and said, or not. So we don't really know. I know there's been people online working on like an Unreal Engine remake, like just fan service. This is, again, one of those things where movie rights and tie-ins, this one should be quite an easy win. And in all honesty...
Didn't The Offspring leak this as well?
I think so, but then I would always say it was Disney and The Simpsons, purely because Disney have been on a bit of a run recently with like remakes. We've got the Toy Story collection coming out. We've had a couple of kind of tie-ins. We've had some Marvel games and stuff get like kind of like remasters and ports. a lot of the Disney games have gone on to like the likes of PlayStation Plus, cloud streaming and stuff. I think even on Amazon Luna, of all things, this week, it's like the Cars game from like PlayStation 3 era and stuff, so that they're for some reason getting circulated again. And obviously they acquired The Simpsons when they bought 20th Century Fox, so they've had them for a couple of years. And I think with a new movie on the horizon, seems like a good fit. GTA is around the corner, and that's ultimately what it is, a GTA tie-in. It just seems like an easy win, and there's that much momentum. I always feel like when it comes up, even when I talk to non-gamers, they remember playing Simpsons Hit and Run or Road Rage.
I actually don't think I ever played it,
Really?
Yeah, I just don't think I never had it. I don't think I ever played it.
Well, Road Rage was like Crazy Taxi, and then Hit and Run was closer to Grand Theft Auto. In its simplest form, it's very much like get missions from around Springfield, go run people over, go run races, go collect stuff from the Quickie Mart. Very much just like GTA, just complete missions in and around the town. But because it was The Simpsons, it had loads of like quips, loads of references and Easter eggs to the show itself. And yeah, good shit. Good shit. Speaking of good shit as well, the Mafia Old Country DLC just came out this week, if you've not caught it. However, on the back of that, over at Hangar 13, they've also announced the Mafia Omerta collection for PS5, Series X, PC, and Steam. If you've already got the game, it comes as a free upgrade, but essentially this includes the definitive edition of Mafia, the Old Country, and Mafia 2 and 3 definitive edition as downloadable content. And that's going to be coming out... What, have I missed it? I missed the date. Did they give a date?
Date. I can't see one.
Well, they've announced it. I'm sure they said a date somewhere. Oh, August 14th. There it is. Found it. August 14th.
Yeah.
So literally... Hang on a minute. Is that out now?
Yes.
Huh. Oh, well, I guess all the games are kind of already there. It's just bundling them all together, isn't it? So there you go. Mafia 1, 2, 3, definitive editions, and the fantastic Mafia the Old Country. I don't know what order to play them in, what order to recommend, because as many of our audience members know, I have not played the other Mafia games. Thanks to Google Stadia.
A good jumping on point.
I mean, it's a prequel, technically, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, it's also the best looking and probably plays the best because it's the most modernized.
I'm guessing there isn't a physical version of this collection.
The fact that it's released already suggests it's very much like an online release, which is a shame because for the Mafia, you could go so badass with like an amazing like art style on the front, or a collector's edition,
a full collector's edition steelbook with all the different art, like an art book inside.
Like lean into that kind of Mafia aesthetic, like pinstripe, like leather chest or something, or comes with a Tommy gun, something like that. But yeah, 4 eras, 1 oath, all for the family, out now. And yeah, don't know when it's coming to Google Stadia. We are still 7,800 days since Mafia 2 and 3 were promised on Google Stadia or something along that. I can't remember the joke now. It's been that long.
You should tweet at them again.
Tweet at them, Hangar 13. What are you doing?
Hi, I don't know if you remember ignoring me.
Yeah, it's me again. I've been a bit quiet because Google Stadia shit the bed. But I did really enjoy Old Country, and I'd highly recommend it if you've not played it. Yeah, so
Old Country is my list of games I want to play.
I think my brother's got my copy of it. But yeah, just to give it your time order. Mafia Old Country is Sicily 1904. Then Mafia Definitive Edition is Lost Heaven 1930, which is on the LA side of things. Mafia 2 is 1943, so it does a 13-year jump ahead. And then Mafia 3 is 1968, so it does another jump ahead as well. So there is quite a bit of a time jump between these. And there's a couple of characters that are kind of linked throughout, but obviously they get older. So in Mafia 3, there's some like old as fuck people, but they are like teenagers in the Old Country. So it's interesting to see how they kind of like cross over through the eras and as the games go back and forth. But you know what? I'm all for video game preservation. I'm all for kind of the newer editions of them. And I'm all for bundling them all together because if, like me, you've not played them all, it's a great jumping on point as well. Jumping on points, jumping off points. We've got some bad news in the industry because it wouldn't be a weekly covering the news story without it. Supermassive have laid off games. So that's the folks who do like the Dark Pictures anthology. You'll maybe know them from The Quarry or Until Dawn originally. Little Nightmares as well. They've dabbled in some. They're basically known for all the horror. They've announced redundancies and job cuts They've done a couple over the last recent years, but yeah, this next one is going to be 75 employees. Unfortunately, they quote, "We've made the difficult decision to begin a redundancy consultation. We anticipate the result of a loss of up to 75 colleagues. This is a necessary step to ensure the sustainability of our company. We know it's incredibly difficult for everyone, and our priority is to help them through the process and support them and all those impacted." Just keeps going. Should we just throw in the other one while we're here on the news story? Netflix have closed Oxenfree studio Night School. So this is quite akin to Google Stadia, actually. Netflix want to get into games, acquire a couple of studios, going to make games for Netflix exclusive. They only got them in 2021. Flash forward to 2026. Shut them down.
Because no one plays games in Netflix.
A Netflix spokesperson says, "We're incredibly grateful to the talented colleagues who we're saying goodbye to today. We thank them all for the contributions to Netflix and wish them the best." In addition to shutting the two studios, Netflix is also laying off a number of staff across its internal games team that's not disclosed how many. So they dip the toes in, they spend the money, but just like Google, they never fully committed, did they? They're just dabbling, doing some things that are right, and screwing over people's lives in the meantime.
Netflix never had this solid vision of what Netflix gaming should be. It feels like a weird tack-on thing to what Netflix as a streaming service is. Almost like, Beehive Bedlam was to Sky.
Yeah.
It's just like,
we do games, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. I think Netflix would have been better served as a publisher rather than a platform for games.
Yeah, probably.
You know what? Take your IP, even acquire some studios, and make a fully fledged Stranger Things survival horror game that is released on all platforms.
Yeah.
There's an interesting idea.
I mean, we played the Stranger Things DLC for Far Cry 5, I want to say, maybe, and it was fun. And you could almost see the concept of what would have been a fun game, but that Stranger Things boat sailed. I don't know what even is the big thing on Netflix at the moment, but they keep ticking on. Final few news stories just to quickly round up. 2K, I guess some studios closed, some open. 2K have unveiled ambitious new sports studio stuffed with ex-EA Sports FIFA talent. Based in Vancouver, they've announced Small Axe, the name of the studio, is going to be building their next blockbuster sports franchise. It's a AAA development studio formed in 2K's Exploratory Sports Lab project, which was established back in 2023. They say it's based in Vancouver, where EA makes its FC, previously titled FIFA games, filled with EA Sports veterans. The studio is led by executive producer Aaron McCarty, who's had the same role of the FIFA team for over 15 years until 2021. The design head is another EA veteran, Gary Peterson, who worked on the FIFA titles all the way back to FIFA 06. And then basically over 20 years of sports veterans. They also have head of operations and art director John Cruz, also ex-EA. And they said they want to redefine the future of sports video games. They don't mention any specific sport, but the studio's logo takes the form of a football club style badge on a sports shirt. So maybe this is FIFA again? You know, the one that said we'll be back with the word FIFA, and then they went and did that thing with... Oh, who did they pick to do it, to make a game? They had that shitty World Cup game that came out.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I think we said at the time, didn't we? If you're going to go anywhere, 2K, who are known for the NBA game, they've got heritage in making good sports games.
Yeah. The only issue I have with 2K is they're pretty bad when it comes to the microtransactions in all their games.
And EA, they all are.
Yeah, at least EA. I know they have tons of microtransactions in Ultimate Team, but if you don't play a stupid card game, the rest of the game's there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not optimistic, but I'm curious to see what they come up with.
Again, for consumers,
with the acquisitions,
for consumers,
with the people they're acquiring, I'm leaning towards this is football.
What do you think of the logo?
At least versa. I don't mind it, but Small Axe doesn't really come across as sports.
Yeah.
Focused and getting more fantasy vibes from it rather than I don't know. I think the name the logo's fine. The name is weird.
The logo having the triangle missing out of it is kind of irritating my symmetrical nature. Yeah. It reminded me immediately when I saw it. I thought it was Portland Timbers, who are based in Portland, playing the MLS, but their logo is an axe and they're green and kind of gold is their logo. And for these to be called Small Axe and go for a green and black is like...
They should have kind of riffed off the West Ham logo, where instead of hammers, they use axes.
Yeah, quite possibly. And then the final story of the week, Richie, is as D23 news does trickle down to us, we may have missed some gamer news in amongst the week at the time of recording. Kingdom Hearts is getting an animated series coming to Disney Plus. Ready for a new adventure, they say. An original Kingdom Hearts anime series inspired by the beloved video game franchise is coming soon to Disney Plus. It's going to be an anime adaptation in tandem with the creator Netsuya Nomura and Square Enix directly involved in the project. The show reimagines the iconic adventure with a brand new story that is going to expand the universe of Kingdom Hearts while celebrating the characters that have captured the hearts of millions of fans around the world, say Disney. The Japanese account for Kingdom Hearts also posted about the series with the creator himself, saying, "We can't discuss any details just yet, but we've been in close discussions with the scenario team, including myself, when needed. We've also enlisted the art team's cooperation, even creating multiple new character designs specifically for this project. Can't say anything more right now, but they did hint at a single piece of key art that's been revealed to let your imaginations run wild." And the key art's basically just a character holding a key. Don't know. I don't think it's Sora. But have at it, Kingdom Hearts fans. Maybe I'll understand the plot after watching the animated series.
I think this is actually a cool idea because Kingdom Hearts it's got a very convoluted plot, and to be honest, I don't think the plot of individual games is that bad. It's the whole. This is Kingdom Hearts 2.54
remix.
Remix part 2. It's like what the fuck is going on? Like, how do you approach this as someone interested in the franchise? How do you even know where to start?
I don't.
If they do an anime and just run it up to like the last Kingdom Hearts 4 the last?
No,
one?
4's not out though. So
maybe 3.
4 was always 4 was actually at D23, and they announced that the Fest area is going to be based on Coco and the Dead Realm.
So if my idea was you run this anime all the way up to Kingdom Hearts 3 then. So then you can watch the anime, then you can jump in at 3, and there you go. And you can go back and play the other games if you want to.
Yeah.
It might make it more approachable for fans. Yeah.
There's probably a lot of crossover as well, where people might check it out, and if it kind of beds them in. Didn't we get like another collection recently as well? Like a 2-3 remix, something that came out on like Switch 2 and something. It's either been announced or it's already out. But yeah, it's one of those where I should, in theory, be the ideal fan for it, but it's just been that convoluted. I think I tried playing one of them when they came at PS4. Nat's played them, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's played them. I don't know if she's played all of them, but she played Kingdom Hearts 1, I want to say last year.
That might have been the port that I'm thinking of then, or the most recent ports. Yeah, I know my wife tried to play them because she's a big Disney fan and was just like, we played an hour of it and we were just like, what on earth is going on here? Why are they using keys as weapons?
Pizza, by the way.
Oh, they all want pizza. Although I'm not adverse to it. But Richie, that brings us to an end to this week's episode of the GamerGuild Podcast, episode number 157. We are a mere 4 weeks away from eclipsing our Sounds of Stadia totality, which actually would be quite fitting because I said we're also a couple of weeks away from our 7th-year anniversary. So I think you might get a planets aligning or an eclipse aligning.
Didn't we launch GamerGuild with an anniversary stream? I can't remember anything now.
It's been a few years. But yeah, 30th of September is our official anniversary. And yeah, we'll surpass 161 Sounds of Stadia episodes in 4 weeks' time, which will bring us just short of the anniversary. So who knows? Maybe look out for a shitty Total Eclipse episode where actually everything's still daylight and you can't even see anything because it's cloudy.
And there's clouds.
Like, very befitting of the channel. But that's been it for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Share, like, comment, do all that magical jazz. Thank you very much. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
And remember, folks, play whatever makes you the happiest. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.